All right, this particular recording is going to cover how to do percent problems, and it's coming from section 7.2 and 7.3 from your CAP045 textbook pre-algebra, second edition. However, I don't follow along the book so much. I want to teach you the proportion method for doing percents. So I'm going to take problems from page 518. So if you want to get yourself to page 518 and kind of use that as a reference as I teach you this method, that will help. So the proportion method for solving percent problems uses the proportion A over B equals P over 100. Simple fraction open, A over B, simple fraction close, equals simple fraction open, P over 100, simple fraction close. And you've done proportions before, so you know that you have to cross multiply and divide. So that's how you're going to solve your percent problems, and this works for all percent problems. So the A is the amount, or the is part of our problem. The B is the base, or the of part of our percent problem. And then the P is the percent. And then we put it over 100 because you learned in the last section that percents are just parts of 100. So when we do problems, we're going to put in the information that we have from the problems and solve for what we don't have by doing cross multiplication and dividing by the odd man out, as we like to say, or we can set it up as an algebra problem and use division to solve. So let's take a look at problem number 2 on page 518. It says, what number is 159.2% of 125? So what number is, that's the number we're missing, that's our A. And we have the percent, that's 159.2, so we're going to write 159.2 over 100. I'm going to substitute in the percent value for the P. And then the of 125, that's our base. It's out of 125. So here we have a proportion, A over 125 equals 159.2 over 100. We're going to cross multiply and divide by the odd man out. The odd man out is the one that's across from the variable. So we have 159.2 times 125. So
159.2 times 125 equals 19900.
and then we're going to divide that by the 100.
Divided by 100
Only because it's opposite the A. It's the odd man out.
equals 199.
So it's A equals 199. 199 out of 125 is 159.2%, and that should feel right. It's more than 125 because it's all of it, 100% of it, and then 59% more. So you could also do this algebraically. You could say 100A equals 19900, right? We multiply the 159.2 times 125 and 100A, and then you're dividing by 100 on both sides using your algebra skills. The hundreds cancel, and A is going to equal 199. So you can show it with your algebra also. So the proportion method for solving these problems, it works. Let's try another one. Let's look at number 4 on page 518. Number 4 says 25%, I'll write it down on my whiteboard too, 25% of what number is 40? 25% of what number is 40? So we know our P is 25, so we're going to put 25 over 100, and our A over B equals P over 100. And is 40, so we know our A, our amount, and the of what number, that's what we don't know, the B. So we're going to have 40 over B when we fill in our proportion. Now we're going to cross multiply and divide. We're going to have 40 times 100, which is 4,000, equals 25B. We're going to divide both sides by 25 if we show the algebra, or you could just do 40 times 100 and divide by the odd man out.
4, 0, 0, 0 divided by 2, 5 equals 1, 6, 0.
So B equals 160. So 40 out of 160 is 25%. And that should seem right. If we simplified that, that would be a quarter, wouldn't it? So our answer is 160. Our base is 160. 25% of 160 is 40. Let's try one more, and then we'll move on to some word problems. So let's try number 6. Oh, actually, number 6 looks like, so we found an A, we found a B. Let's find the percent. Let's jump to number 9. No, not number 9, I'm sorry, number 12. It starts out, 9 is what percent of 50? 9 is what percent of 50? So 9 is, that's our A, so we have 9 over, and of 50, that's our B, so 9 out of 50, equals what percent, so that's our P, over 100, always parts of 100, right? So over 100. So we're looking for the p-value, so we're going to cross multiply the 9 times 100 is 900, and that equals 50p, right? We're going to divide by that 50, the odd man out. 900 divided by 50.
900 divided by 50 equal 18.
P equals 18%. All right, don't forget to put the percent sign after that. All right, so 9 is 18% of 50. And that sounds about right. 10% would be 5. 20% would be 10. So 18% would be 9. That seems about right if we use our common sense. So there's the proportion method, A over B equals P over 100. Let's turn and look at some story problems, general application problems on page 521. This goes into now your next section, 7.3. And on page 521, it says Myrna, example 1, Myrna notes that 20% of her class is absent. If the class has 45 students, how many students are absent? So 20% of her class, that would be 20% of 45, and they want to know is how much, right? Is absent. They want to know what that is. So we're looking for A, aren't we? We're looking for the part of the whole, of the base, 45. So the base is 45. And the 20 is our p-value over 100. So 20% of 45 is absent. We're looking for our a value. So we're going to cross multiply 20 times 45, which is 900. 900 equals 100a. We're going to divide by 100 on each side, and a is going to equal 9. And that should be right. 10% would be 4.5, so 20% would be 4.5 twice, which would be 9. So 20% of 45 is 9. 9 students are absent. Okay, so notice we still are able to use this A over B equals P over 100. We just ask ourselves in the story problem, what's missing? My is, my of, or my percent? My amount, my base, or my percent? My A, my B, or my P? So look at number 2, example number 2 on page 521. Miss D answered 90% of the questions on her mathematics exam correctly. If Miss D had 27 correct answers, how many questions were on the exam? So what's missing? It's all the questions on the exam, right? So the B is missing. And the part that she got right was not 27, right? She got 27 of the questions on her 27 right of all the questions. And that was a 90%, so 90 over 100. So we're looking for the B. 27 is the A, 90 is the P. We're going to cross multiply and divide. So we're going to have 2700 equals 90B. We're going to divide by 90 on both sides. And B is going to equal 30, right? So you can find your B value by using the A over B equals P over 100. Turn the page to page 522 and look at example 3. 522, example 3. Misty answered 30 of 40 possible questions on her sociology examination. what percent of the total number of questions did Misty mark? Well, we're looking for the P. They said what percent, right? And it says 30 of 40. So it'd be 30 is our A and of 40 our B. So we have 30 over 40 equals P over 100. We're going to cross multiply. 30 times 100 is 3,000 equals 40P. We're going to divide by the 40. And P is going to equal 75%, right? 3,000 divided by 40.
3,000 divided by 4, 0 equals
75%. All right. Take a look at page 523. Let's look at that example and see what we can do with that. Page 523, example 4. 35 milliliters of 60 milliliter solution is hydrochloric acid. What percent of the solution is hydrochloric acid? So 35 of 60, that would be 35 over 60, equals what percent? P over 100. Cross multiply and divide. So we have 3,500 equals 60P. We're going to divide by 60 on both sides. And P is going to equal
3,500 divided by 6, 0 equals 58.33333.
58.3 repeated, or 58 1/3%. You could answer it as a fraction also. All right. So that is all the examples for 7.3. You can go through those questions for that particular section and still continue to use your A over B equals P over 100. The is the amount over the base, the of, equals the percent over 100. And cross multiply and divide by the odd man out all day long, or set it up as an algebraic expression and then divide by the number next to the variable to get your answer. And if it's a percent, remember to put the percent sign next to your number. And go back and answer the question, make sure it makes sense. That's always a good thing, to make sure that you did the math right. These should be pretty basic, and if you're using your calculator, they'll probably go pretty fast. All right, that's all for 7.2 and 7.3. We'll see you in the next video.